Alliance and the ACLU to speak about an issue. I want to start by saying that Governor Ted Strickland owes Senate President Bill Harris an apology. When President Harris sent the letter after this issue broke and called for Director Joan Kelly's termination because of her misuse of government authority, the governor tried to brush it off by saying it was a matter of politics. The unwarranted abuse of state governmental authority to investigate a private citizen in response to his simply expressing himself publicly is not about politics, it's about privacy. Every Ohioan should be dismayed when the result of making a public statement is that a governmental official misuses her authority to conduct an investigation of that person's state records. That is an invasion of the right of privacy, both guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution and Article 1 of the state Constitution. I am troubled by the fact that for years sitting down here, I would hear Democrats call for the heads of Republican appointees for their indiscretions. And those indiscretions were not warranted. But I will tell you, failing to say you went on a golf outing or got a gift while wrong, it was far less serious than misusing your authority to investigate the private citizens of the state of Ohio. The specter of Big Brother being able to reach into the government computers simply because you stated something that is an opposite of the political views of officials who work for Big Brother is wrong. I am confident that the Ohio legislature will be introducing legislation soon, both in the House and the Senate, to address this wrong. And I think we have to assure Ohioans in the future that when they speak out and express themselves politically, they don't have to worry about governmental officials looking into their private records. I applaud the Christian Alliance and the ACLU for standing up on this issue, look forward to the legislature going forward, and I hope the governor will provide an apology to President Harris because he's entitled to the situation. Thank you.
I'm Mike Maurer, Director of the Center for Transparent and Accountable Government at the Buckeye Institute for Public Policy Solutions. My mission is to stimulate government, and when government won't act, work ourselves to provide basic operating data about governments, budgets, jurisdictional authority, public records, information that citizens should have under our system about how their governments operate. There are promising things on the horizon in regard to this. State Auditor Mary Taylor recently announced that she's forming a working group to study XBRL, which is an extension of XML, which for all of the college students and internet geeks out there is the basic language of the internet. It's what allows information to be transmitted to your home pilot, to a website, or to be printed. It's the future of data. This is a good move. I was looking today for some village budgets for a couple of villages in Ohio, and it's hard to come across that information. I recently read the State Board of Education report calling for an additional $1 billion in funding for our secondary school system, and it referenced another report by McKinsey & Company, and I went to search the state databases for that to find out how much was paid for this report, and it's impossible to find. We could do a public records request and get that information, but dredging it out of the budget is difficult. My point is, government makes it hard for citizens to find out data about the operation of government. This is wrong. This is where they should be putting their efforts to enable us to oversee what is happening and to match government actions with our priorities. Compare that with what happened to Joe Wurzelbacher. In the 1970s, there was a comedy troupe, Monty Python, that everyone knows, and they had a sketch called No One Ever Expects the Spanish Inquisition. No one ever goes into government saying, I'm going to do bad, that this is a bad activity of mine. The people who did searches in multiple government agencies about a man who did nothing except express his opinion is appalling, and yet they thought they were justified. It is of fundamental importance to our system that this kind of misconduct be recognized as misconduct, and more importantly, that there be sunshine, that this be brought to the attention of citizens so that when someone stands up at a village council meeting or when they stand up on the floor of the General Assembly, they are not intimidated into silence. There is nothing more important to our system of government.
Thank you. Representative Batchelder?